for those of you that are online. If you're at home, it would be good to have bolster or couch cushion or pillow. If you have a block, that would be great. None of this stuff is necessary, but I like to have a rice bag or a sandbag to kind of pin down my shoulder in a couple of spots, and a blanket for when we move into Yoga Nidra. So our first pose is going to be legs up the wall. So if you're home, you can just go ahead and pop up against a wall. If you're here with me, let's go ahead and lay your blanket or bolster or block, whatever you have handy, across the mat, and then go ahead and put your legs. Just start here with your feet on the floor. Find a nice spot under your sacrum for whatever you have for your support. And then we're just going to put our legs straight up. So it might feel good to jackknife them just a little bit so that they feel stable. It's okay if they're bent. And just sort of find a spot. Yeah. Good, and just get creative with how you get them up there. And then maybe it will feel good at the beginning if you feel like rotating your feet around your ankles or moving your legs back and forth, or just finding stillness, whatever feels best. So this practice, this Yin Yoga that we'll be starting with, is just this beautiful space where we can access some of that cooler moon feminine energy, and where we can hold poses for an extended period of time so that we can really get into that connective tissue. This kind of yoga is really quiet, it's introverted, it's introspective. So there's also an invitation while you're here to really move into a nice meditative space in your mind. So if it feels comfortable for you, I would invite you here to just put one hand on your heart and one hand on your navel. And before we do anything else, just do a little check-in. So just notice what's happening in your internal world today. Maybe your head is kind of buzzing with thoughts, or maybe you have a lot of sensations, or maybe you feel a little bit emptier. So whatever's there, just welcome it. And maybe just start to deepen the breath. So maybe your eyes close or you find a soft gaze. Maybe your belly rises just a little bit more with each inhale. And falls a little bit deeper with a full and complete exhale. Just starting to bring a softness in, an invitation to really settle in on the mat. So our sort of theme for tonight is surrender. So with each breath that we take, as we exhale, we can surrender the body a little bit deeper into the ground. Maybe surrendering the back of our neck muscles, letting our face get soft. And we'll also be working a little bit today with our Shushmana, which is our central channel. This central channel that we breathe through, that energy flows through in our body. So for just a moment here, spend a moment noticing which nostril you're breathing in through the most. We tend to have a cycle at different times. So just noticing which nostril is dominant in this moment for the breath. And then focusing each breath on the inhale and exhale on that dominant nostril. And now focus your attention on the non-dominant nostril. Just notice the air moving through it. Now, try to even out the breath so that it's moving equally through both nostrils. Nice and slow and easy. Maybe imagining that breath moving from the tip of the nose up at a line of energy to the spot between the eyebrows, the third eye. And then back down the tip of the nose. Go ahead and gently lower those legs one at a time onto the ground for bridge pose. So keeping those hips elevated, maybe the knees fall in toward one another. Maybe you keep your hands at your belly and heart, or maybe they open up to the side. Or you can even cross them, grab at elbows, and then setting those down head for a little shoulder stretch here. And then just inviting surrender in this place as well. Can you let the shoulders drop? Can you let the pelvis sink down? And maybe moving back into the observation of the breath, equal through the nostrils, from nose to third eye and back down the nose.
the spine. Just noticing what your body, what your mind does in those moments of silence. Just be a curious observer. Can you relax your hands? Bringing those arms back up if they were above your head. Lifting your pelvis to remove your prop and lowering your spine down. And then spending a moment just stretching or moving in any way that you'd like. There's no right or wrong. Eventually making your way up to a seated position for a butterfly pose. Soles of the feet come together. They can be farther away from the body or closer to the body. Maybe you have a pillow or a block here that you rest your head on. Whatever works for you. Whenever you find a spot that works for you, just let your shoulders soften, let your neck soften, let your face soften. This really simple pose can help with mild depression and anxiety and fatigue. Maybe it would feel good to imagine breathing from down below, a couple of feet down into the earth, up into your feet, breathing all the way up the length of your legs into your heart, And then exhaling from your heart all the way back down your legs and into the earth. Breathing from down in the earth, breathing up any nourishment that you need, comfort, energy, endurance. Periodically just checking back in with your shoulders and just noticing, am I holding there? Am I holding through the back of my shoulder blades? Let it go. Can it be surrendered? Best thing we can do for our immune system is to rest. Can you just relax? Can you surrender to the sensation, but also just to the softness that you're being called to the softness of your breath? To the softness of the mantra you're hearing. Just one more minute here, maybe a tiny bit deeper, maybe not. Then slowly making your way up, maybe helping your knees back together. Then any spontaneous stretching or movement that might feel good. Then setting up for a dragon pose, which is like a low lunge. So maybe having a pillow or a block on your left side, then bringing your right foot forward, walking that right ankle so it's underneath the right knee. And it'd be good to double up your blanket here, especially if you have any sensitivity in your knees. Yeah. And we usually end up something like this. So once you're here, go ahead and walk that right foot forward and walk that left knee back so that you've got a nice sort of straight line here. you should feel this deep in this hip flexor. So walk it back as far as you can, and then if you have something to lean on here, your block or a pillow, you can just sort of rest down on top of it. Or you can stay here if this feels better, just sort of resting into your leg. Wherever you are, let your head hang heavy. Let your shoulders relax. Yeah. Takes a minute to get settled. Once you do start to feel settled, then try and find some stillness. Notice if you're holding or gripping anywhere. So there can be a lot of sensation in this front of this hip flexor. So notice if you're holding anywhere else to compensate, or if you're sort of holding your body up to stay out of sensation. And if you are, take a nice deep exhale and just feel yourself soften. Good. Maybe you can even shake your head, yes or no, a little bit, loosening up through the neck. Been reading a lot about grief and human reaction to grief. And all of these sort of stages of grief that we go through are about kind of easing us into feeling it, right? So we go through these stages of denial and all kinds of different things so that we can escape it, so we don't have to feel the brunt of it. So we spend a lot of mental energy, a lot of time and energy in our lives holding back. So in a practice like this, we get a chance in this nice, safe environment with our body to just practice moving toward. Practice moving toward sensation. Practice sort of coaching ourselves in those moments, using the breath to support us. Always listening to our body, though. So if our body says we need to move or move out, always listen to that. Couple more minutes here. And we know that holding a pose for an extended period of time is what moves us into that connective tissue. Lengthening in that and stretching that hip flexor helps with our back as well, our low back.
Keep breathing, almost there. Good. Go ahead and come up out of that if you need to stretch for just a second. And then come back onto your knees whenever you've stretched. We're actually going to do a pose in between before we do the other side. So from here, coming into puppy pose or heart melting pose, you can have a pillow if you want to deepen your stretch, or a blanket, or you can just do this on the ground. So you'll walk it so that your hips are lifted up over your knees, and then your arms will lengthen out on your side. Or you can just do this on the ground if that's too much in the shoulders. Yeah. So we're doing a nice stretch through the shoulders here, and we're feeling the back of our heart just surrender. Surrendering, softening down toward the ground. And if that dragon pose, that hip flexor stretch sort of pulled you out of that introspective space, just allow yourself to go back there. Following the line of your breath. Noticing what's happening in your body. This mantra, Om So Hum, means I am that. And through this process, and especially through the Yoga Nidra process, we're reminded that we are the observer. We're the one watching all of this unfold. So can you just, for a moment, observe your thoughts, observe the sensations in your body. And on the exhale, feeling your heart drop a little bit, melt a little bit, surrender a little bit. Maybe imagining drawing breath from down in the earth, up your legs. And on the exhale, feeling it come down the length of your spine and into your heart, softening it. With our forehead on the floor like this, we're also activating our third eye, that space between our eyebrows. It's associated with our glands, with the pituitary gland, with intuition. So maybe as you're here, your eyes even gently roll up to the space between your eyebrows. Maybe asking yourself, what am I aware of in this moment? What do I know in this moment? What's true in this moment? Where else can you surrender in the last minute in this pose? Gently coming off of your support if you're still on it, and then moving your body in any way that would feel good. Just trusting your body to know what it needs. Whenever you feel ready, start to make your way onto the other side for dragon, moving your support to your right side of your body. Left leg comes forward.
And then right knee walks back until you're really sinking your pelvis down toward the ground. Maybe you stay lifted here, or maybe you find sort of a soft place to land. Just observe the difference on this side. Maybe you feel more sensation, maybe it's less. Let your head and neck soften. Your back knee, if the knee on the floor is still bothered, you can also tuck your toes. Takes a little bit of pressure off of the knee. And then just surrender into that. Soften into the sensation, soften into the ground. Notice if there was any shift in your thoughts or your breath. Can you start relying on your breath to be the catalyst for keeping you connected to the moment, keeping you connected to your body, moving through sensation? How much breath can you pull in this moment? How much breath can you move through those tight spaces? Where can the breath help you soften? Just a couple more minutes here. I know it's a lot of sensation. Just keep breathing through it. Can you keep making your way back to yourself through your breath? Good.
And then go ahead and make your way back out of that pose. Move however you'd like for a moment. Take absolutely as much time as you'd like, and then we'll just meet up here in a child's pose. If you'd like to, you're welcome to open your knees wide. You can have your arms extended in front of you, or you can just sort of curl up. Let your arms be along your sides. Child's pose is a wonderful restorative pose. Stretches out our back, good for digestion, and it's also just a good place to kind of come home to after a more intense stretch. Can you breathe into your low back? Can all of your limbs now, your arms, legs, hands, and feet, breathe in the energy of the earth, sending all of that breath, that nourishment to wherever your body needs it. Gradually making your way up. We'll be moving on to our back. Feel free to take an interlude there if you would like one.
From here, moving into a twist, whatever variation you like. If you'd like to, you can bring your knees up to your chest, then let your knees drop over to the right side of your body. Under your knees or on top of your knees. Just asking yourself if there's any way here that you can surrender a little bit more. Maybe surrendering your body to the floor. Maybe it's a surrender of thought, breath. What can you do to be here now? Can you really notice the sounds? Can you really notice the sensation in the twist? Maybe noticing all of the parts of your body where you feel it. Maybe you can notice the coolness of the floor on your hands or your feet. And bringing your knees back up to center when you feel ready. Taking a moment to find your spine here, maybe grasping your knees in toward your chest and rocking a little bit back and forth. And then dropping your knees over to the left side. Opening up that right arm. Maybe it feels good to look straight ahead, or maybe you look out over those right fingertips. Maybe it would feel good to think some kind thoughts about yourself. That moves you too much into your thinking mind. And just go back to the breath, back to the sensations. Yeah, maybe it would feel good to yawn or do an audible exhale, just releasing. And coming back up through center when that feels complete. You have a couple of minutes here to just move any way that you'd like. In conclusion, so maybe you're immediately ready to just lie in Shavasana, or maybe there's some part of your body that's asking for a stretch or movement.
Whenever you do start to feel ready for stillness, I recommend that you cover at least your chest with a blanket. Your body temperature does drop during Yoga Nidra. There's some extra blankets if you need one. If you're at home, I'm actually going to stop this recording and then start a new one for the Nidra part. So just log right back in. I'm doing that because they might take this one down because of the music. So go ahead and lie down on your back, palms face up. And it might feel good to put, rolled up blanket or bolster underneath your knees to help support your low back.